Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we've got the Elceram ESC. This is the Nitride one. So top at range for the modified electronic speed controller from Elceram. And yeah, this one we got from RD Models. So big shout out to Dave and crew there. Link will be in the description below. And let's bring you in, have a quick unboxing, see what we get with this thing, and I'll just read out a few specs, let you know a few things it does, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So as I say, this is the Elceram Nitride 1/10 ESC. So as main differences with this, it's a fanless design. Under most running circumstances, you will not need a cooling fan on it. Very interesting design. So we're used to seeing ESCs with all the heat vented at the top. These have flipped it on its head. It's all at the bottom. And a huge difference on this, we've got quite a decent sized full LCD screen and programming buttons all built onto the actual speed controller itself, which means you've got a load of data fields that will show in real time. As soon as you get your RC back to pits, you can have a full breakdown of how it's performed. Any programming, don't need a phone, anything connected to it, no programming, no plugging it into PC. Every setting can all be changed directly on the actual speed controller itself, and all the readout is done on the screen. Quite an interesting thing this, and I'm kind of surprised we've not seen it done at this level before. Now, these have been out in various parts of the world, but there are differences with this one. So this one is one of the first ones that's officially sold in UK from Schumacher. So they're the guys bringing these in. And anybody that's had one of the earlier versions of these, I believe the BEC was set to 7.4 volt. It's now adjustable, 6 to 7.4 volt, 4 amp constant, 10 amp peak at 125C. And you can tell this has got a little sticker on box that says that. So definitely something that's been changed. It is EFRA and RORA approved, so we can use it in any racing event. But yeah, quite nice packaging. It does explain the 32-bit MCU on it. So right up there with any of the other latest ESCs. We do have aluminium nitride cooler, an LCD TFT screen. We got real-time monitoring and really easy programming. So let's quickly get this open. And for me, for what this thing actually does, for some reason, I was expecting a bigger footprint than that. I mean, this is quite small. I like the way it comes with mounting screws. The other thing that's supplied in the box is a carbon fibre plate that you can fasten onto there, and then it allows you to stick it down to the chassis. Gives you a nice smooth, rather than these sort of cutouts where you'd struggle getting a sticky pad on. Gives you a nice smooth surface, and it always ensures you've got enough ventilation. So that's really nice. The actual size of it, I'm quite impressed that they've managed to get all this tech into such a little box. It's all machined aluminium. Moving along to the cable, so you can see for the BEC, it still says 7.4 volt out, which it was locked to originally. We do have a little sticker on here telling us which pins are which. Because there's no legend on the actual plug itself to what I can see, but it's not really a problem. There is a grey line on one of these leads, and that will be your minus, so negative. So if you just remember, negative is your marked line. I do like the way they've kept the cables mostly black, and it does look like a pretty decent length cable. Then moving along, we've got a negative power cable, and these are 13 gauge wire. do feel nice and soft, and again it's a pretty decent length. Then we've got us A, B and C motor wires. We've got a pre-fitted cap pack. Nice to see a brand is proud of their own name, and they are actually labelling things up, and they've done a pretty good job of actually heat shrinking these, leaving a nice flat surface to stick it down. And we have got the positive designated in case you have to swap these out. So you've got quite a long cable here, so you can shorten this if you like, and there's no guesswork into which is the positive pin. So nice to see that. Then we've got as positive, and we've got the again red band on it designating positive. If I flick this round, we've got the full legend on here, so positive, A, B, C, negative. And then underneath it does say 2S LiPo, and then motor limit 4.5 turn, which pretty much gives it cover to run in any of the classes. I don't actually know anybody that runs anything below maybe a 5.5, even in mod class buggies. We've got the sensor cable out on the side, but yeah, it's quite an impressive little thing. The buttons got a nice tactile feel to them, and you can see the size at screen. It's going to be pretty easy to see this when it's sat in an RC. The only other thing we have, we've got some really nice looking Nitride and Elceram stickers. Dare I say it, these kind of look better than the Hobbywing ones. So yeah, Hobbywing, I think you've definitely got some competition here. There are guys running these and they really do like them. So not hearing any bad feedback from the guys that are actually racing with these. So we do have zero timing mode or blinky mode. That's available on this one. If you set your turbo, boost and haul angle all to 0, it will be in blinky mode. So that's supported in case you want to race in stock class. If you change any of those settings away from 0, it will take it straight out of blinky mode. And interestingly, it does say they recommend use of the Nitride together with one of the compatible devices listed below. Use Nitride with other devices is not tested, so they're not responsible if it doesn't function. But basically, they've tested it with the MT17, MT4, MT44, MT5, Futaba T4PM Plus and the FlySky Noble Pro. So you're pretty much covered. If it works with them, it'll work with anything. They have got a bunch of receivers they've tested it with. So for Sandwell, we've got the 493i, 482 FH4, 492 FH5. Futaba wise, we've got the R304 SB, and then the R202 GFE and the R203 GFE. And with FlySky, they've run it with the FGR4 V2 Micro, which I'm not sure what they've listed that, because that doesn't exist. I'm guessing they mean FGR4S V2, because the FGR4 is definitely not a micro. But again, if it works with that much of a range of receivers, I can't feasibly see you having any issues running anything. Motor-wise, they've tested with Hobbywing, Trinity, LRP, much more, Yokomo, Connect and Dash. Again, such a wide range already tested with it. I can't really see you having any issues with it. The BEC is fully adjustable now, from 6 up to 7.4 volt. You've got all your normal adjustabilities, what you'd expect. So on throttle, you've got PWM and Expo. Braking wise, you've got your PWM, you've got the minimum, maximum force Expo, drag brake, boost timing. you have RPM 0, 1 and 2, and then boost 1 and 2. Turbo timing, you get your turbo degree, you get the delay, you get ramp up and ramp down. So lots of adjustability. You can change your haul angle. So you've got RPM 1 and you've got RPM 0 and RPM 1, two ranges you can set, and then the actual angle. Voltages through the protection, you've got adjustable ranges, so you get a voltage warning and then you get a voltage cutoff. And again, temperature, you'll get the temperature warning and you'll get the temperature cutoff to protect. I will put a picture of this up right screen somewhere so you can see the stock parameter setup sheet, where they give you a baseline start for modified touring car on carpet, modified touring car on tarmac or asphalt, stock touring car on carpet, two-wheel drive modified carpet, two-wheel drive buggy stock carpet, four-wheel drive modified carpet, and four-wheel drive stock carpet. And it also shows your default values down the right hand side of it. But yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be an extremely interesting little speed controller. And yeah, I like the idea of it. I do only have one concern with it, and that is that at the moment I see no way to update firmware. So not sure if this is just going to be a buy it and run it as it is, or if at some point or already they do some kind of programmer where you can plug this into PC and update it. I don't know if that is an option. I can't find any information about it. But yeah, if it all works and it works well, no need to update firmware, which I know a lot of people will be happy about. I get multiple questions from people saying, do I really have to update firmware? I'm not that technical. There is always a risk when you're updating firmware. So yeah, if this is just a fit it and forget it solution and they've nailed the firmware on it, then I don't see why we'd ever need any kind of firmware update. But yeah, yet to be seen if that is an option. But that was just a first unboxing, and just to give you a rough idea of what it actually comes with in the box. So as with most ESCs, we don't get any kind of sensor cable with it or anything. They usually come with motors. It is a stock one, so that's not a problem. You do get all the wires, but you don't get any battery connections, which again, for race ESCs, you all fit your own, and the wires solder directly to the motor, so I don't see that as a negative. Price wise, for the Nitride, which is the top of the range one, you're looking around about £240 in UK. And this is for the 180 amp 1500 amp burst version, and as I say, it is the one that is now updated to an adjustable BEC. And for 1/10 racing, 4 amp 10 amp peak, I think they've absolutely nailed the specs on that. There's really nothing that jumps out in the specs that would concern me. The only one was the one that's been changed, the adjustable BEC. And mainly it's just because I know an awful lot of guys would rather set the BEC at 6 volts or 6.5, so your servo behaves identical through the entire race. If you're running a pack that sort of capacity is on the limit of your race, you're going to be dropping below 7.4 volt, especially when you're hard throttling out of corners, and it can affect the speed of your servo. If you've got it set to 7.4 but your battery voltage drops below that, your servo will slightly slow down, and if you're trying to hit the same apex of the same corners lap after lap, it can be a bit off-putting. But yeah, they've addressed that. They've given you the option of changing it. and I don't see any reason why this won't be a cracking little ESC. I will be doing a full video on it on when I get this fitted in an RC, because obviously I've got to solder plugs on, solder wires. I don't really want to do that till I'm fitting it in an RC. And yeah, Agama keep pushing the date back. So the little N110, this is going to be going in that when it eventually arrives. Hopefully it'll not be far into New Year. So I'm really looking forward to that. But it was just a quick unboxing and first look at it, run you through a few at specs, and show you what you get in box. But let's wrap this one up. So again, big shout out to the guys at RD Models Chesterfield. I know they've got one of these in stock at least, so link will be in description below for any of you guys that fancy trying something that's not hobby wing. Basically, that's mainly my interest in it. Not that I don't like hobby wing. I've got multiple ESCs. I've had a few weirdness of late with hobby wing where you update the firmware and the ESC forgets alt settings. You then set them again and then it removes them again, and you take a couple of times for it to sort of take. So yeah, just fancied trying something different. The fact that the screen is on it, so it's programmable fully without any phone, any computer, I do like that. The only reservation, as I say, firmware update. I've not seen anything to suggest that there is any way to do it, so it'll be interesting to see if they do that. Kind of hoping there is, because originally when these first went on sale, I believe they just had the BC locked at 7.4 volt. The stickers on the box show that these are upgraded, so you can change that now. But yeah, interesting. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.